a mother of 3, an entrepreneur, a graphic designer and brand consultant, and turned, because of life circumstances, an advocate for special needs persons, specifically autism and other neurodevelopmental disabilities. So this I do through my organization, which is called Andy Speaks for Special Needs Persons Africa, which is generally advised by the challenges I've had, because out of my 3 boys, 2 of them are on the autism spectrum with comorbid conditions of epilepsy, intellectual challenges, and ADHD, and it's just like a whole ball game of challenges. So trying to resolve those issues, having walked that journey here in Kenya. I like to look at it as like God taking you through the test for you to have a testimony and for you to be in a position of experience other than just learning about things. You know, when you learn and you experience, it's 2 totally different things. And when you go through the fire, when you come out, it's actually, as you're a stronger person. And I feel I'm living my purpose. Yeah. So the days, of course, when it was earlier, I would be like, God, what did I ever do to you to deserve this? But now it makes sense, because when I'm having engagements with other parents, trying to encourage and work with them, you get to see if I had not gone through all the trials and tribulations, sleepless nights, not being able to afford a lot of the key services, going through governments, because back then I could not afford it, you know. And it was quite a tough one. And those things are the ones now that give me that point of informed decisions and solutions. So it's not just speculation, but been there, done that, and this is how it would be best, because equity is the one thing that I want to focus on, not just generalize. It's because you see also on the autism spectrum, all of them are different. And you meet one person, that's one person. None are like similar. Yes, you can say 100% the things my son has. Even my 2 kids are totally different, yet both of them are on the spectrum. So it's quite a great dynamic of shifting things every day. And even through the phases of life, when they were smaller and what I'm handling now that they're teenagers, and I'm still worrying now about the next phase of when they're going to become young adults and all of that. So it's a journey of constant rediscovery, constant learning, challenges each and every day that needs a new you every other time. We're actually special parents because some of the things you can never tell that you actually have the not even stamina, I don't even know the right word. The resilience just comes, the grace just comes, because what everyone asks is like, how on earth do you get to handle all of this, be there for other people, still run a business? But then you can imagine that baptism by fire of raising 2 kids on your own for 10 years. Man, you just have to like strap up. I didn't have a life before, that is in all honesty, and most of us are forced to make sacrifices because the stigma is a lot. The segregation by the society, the stigma, and the being labeled, and the cultural and the attitude of people towards you after that. So you learn to just readjust yourself and make do with what you have. But you know, the one thing is, most of us parents will not tell you that we need people to work with us. We need our family to be more understanding, not those ones of usipompeleka kwa pastor XYZ tutakuongelesha tena. People get such threats. Don't come here with them if you've refused to go and see. You know, everyone thinks they have a solution. Yet if you look at science, nobody knows the cause of autism to this day and age. There is a lot of hypothesis that is there, but for certain this is what causes it. It's not documented anywhere. It's just all the papers and whatever. So what we are made of is just God. I believe we're just a reflection of God, because I wouldn't know I had such patience. And that is the greatest lesson that you learn. Patience, and you fall, because we get those days that are rock bottom days, and you have to pull yourself together, because most of the time you look and you're like, if I'm not there for this child, me, the mom, then who else will be there? So you just have to. Disability was not even in my radar.
You were like,
You know, like, why, like, you know, even when you're praying for God, this is what I want, nothing like that was ever in the things I would think of in my, you know, thinking of my future, my getting my kids. I just wanted like cute little bunnies, you know, girls that I still don't have yet. But, but it's a nice army, man. They love me to bits, and I just love it. You know, it is a journey that I just expect. And if you look at it, like my firstborn is a typical child, so I just expected the same. Like my other babies will come, and then it just overnight. It was practically an overnight changeover, because when I was raising him as an infant, it was just not the same. We were forever in hospital. Little did I know that was just the beginning of the forever, because it is forever. It is forever. And you see, for us, the way as other parents are planning for, oh, my kid will go to primary, will go to university, they'll graduate, they'll take care of me. Those are plans I can't have, I can't afford to have. All I'm thinking of right now, that we're at that point of transit, is like, even when I was getting remarried, I told my husband, you know, my son will be with us probably for the rest of his life, you know? You know, and we're still praying for the miracle, and we're praying for all the interventions we are doing to get it to a better place, that they can, at least one of them has shown a great improvement, that he will be able to, you know, be independent and move on with his life. But then the middle child, you're still in that, okay, we can't release you to the world, and right now, even when I'm looking at 13 and what other 13-year-olds are doing, it breaks us as parents, because we wished, we desired. You know, I was looking at, like, I had insurance set out for like college, for what, and I'm just like, okay, that's like that is what I dreamt of when I was planning to have my babies, you know, like, you'll go here, you'll do this, but God had his own plans. And we're adjusting. Like they say, the only constant thing is change, man. So we realign with it as it comes. We're actually only 5 years, and if you tell anyone Andy Speaks is 5 years, they can't believe you. And that's the difference of when you're living your purpose and when you're just doing something for doing it, you know. And because all the projects we do personally are God guided. I will have an idea in the middle of the night. I cannot explain where it comes from, and like, this is what you need to do. Like, I sleep with a notebook next to my bed. Because sometimes God will not allow you to sleep. You know, when you hear that clarity, and I know many people don't, there are people who don't believe in God anyway, but that higher being, that subconscious, whatever you want to call it, will not allow me to sleep until that is done. We have now streamlined, you know, the first few years is trying to gauge the space, trying to see what's actually needed. You know, every parent's journey is different. That is my experience. It's not the same as the person in Mandera. It's not the same as the person in Coast. It's not even here in Kiambu. It's not the same. And my setup, having 2 special needs kids, is like a double training versus someone who has one, you know. And when you have someone with cerebral palsy, it's slightly different, because you see, the neurodiverse community has roughly the same challenges. So the first 3 years was just a lot more research, advocacy, awareness, and just getting together, doing town halls. And now that has advice, and we've been able to realign our projects. We have so many awards because of the work we have done. And I always say, I just don't want other moms to go through what I went through. Sitting at a hospital, bottom line is, it was hell, man. It was hell. And sometimes I sit back and I think of the ones who are now having like 30, 20-year-olds. How did they do it? And but then those are the days all you could do is just stay with them in the house and, you know, try and do everything from there, because there was no information. So in that lack of information immediately after being diagnosed, and that feeling of being alone, is the one thing that I want to be there. Like, if a parent gets diagnosis, let's sit, let's talk. It's not a death sentence. Take it easy. This is what you expect, you know, have that conversation. So we are having a training of now caregivers. We're having a training of public servants. We just trained the police officers because you see, like my 13-year-old gets lost, can't talk. Kara utamwambia nini? Kijana umejiona wewe ni? You know, and that's just who he cannot talk. He cannot talk. But then he will get beaten. He cannot talk to you that I'm hungry and goes and grabs something. Mwizi, he's, you know. So looking at all those angles of life, we're just trying to set things and align them, that the community is ready to integrate our children. Integration is important because they will not live in a special world for the rest of their lives. They have to live amongst others. So awareness for both the community and their caregivers, and that we run through our Neurodigest program, where we do either media engagements, we have our podcasts, we had a TV show before, then now it's evolved to the podcast. We have our web platform where we host our podcast, but it's also rallied on all other major platforms. Then we just have a conversation with specialists, parents, people sharing their stories. We hear stories of the West, but we want to hear our own African stories. Right. When I tell you my son was not walking, he's now walking, he was not talking, you know, how did we do it, what changes, you know, because our demographics, like I mentioned earlier, are very different. So under the Neurodigest program, we have a bit of that, the training, the podcast, the engagement, and of course on the social media, we're letting people know about information. But then there is that information, if I was to tell you about autism, we can have a whole day conversation. It's very diverse. So in the past 4 years, I've been doing research and gathering information. So we have this web portal, which is called Special Needs Resource Hub. So in this resource hub, we have information about autism, information about cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. When you're told what are the things, you know, something as delicate as Down syndrome, there are those things you need to do within the first few months when a child is born. Because of the defects like the heart, the nose and eyes and ears, those are things that need to be checked almost immediately, because it's a comorbid where you find like they have a hole in their heart or something's not well functioning. So just knowing and guiding for parents, just expect you'll go through depression. If you're a single parent, this is what you can do. There is potty training. We have a library where now you have books you can read on. We have now all our shows also in one place, so you can listen to the different therapists. Then we have the resource section. What do I get from government? That's under social protection. What's there, what's not? Under education, what kind of special needs education is it? Then we have a directory of both the schools, the hospitals, the therapists. So if I'm looking for a therapist, you go there and you get it listed. Then we have also education, health, and social protection. Then we have a community section. So this is where parents now have those small things of how do you self-care, how do you handle this, how do you handle that, which WhatsApp group, which Facebook group can I join for whichever now disability that we have, because we're focusing more on the invisible disabilities. Then we have the community section now for the neurodivergent themselves, because you know when they grow up, who's like me? So we have that place of this is where you can, and then we have a corner called Neuro Afro Heroes. You know, we're talking about Steve Jobs, we're talking about the Elon Musk, these neurodivergents who have done so well in the West. What about our very own in Africa? So we have a corner for that. We celebrate the ones who have achieved, so that you know it will encourage that mama that it's not a death sentence when they start from page 1. You know, going to this other side. Then apart from that, there are assistive devices like for early interventions that are electronic. So we put now, like if you want to teach your child on speech, you can download this app. So yes, we have gadgets, but then don't put your child in front of a TV just for the sake of it. These are the things they can be doing. These are the things, programs and things that they can engage. Then apart from that, now we have an e-portal for a shop where we have various promo materials for just raising awareness and also assistive devices. That is our other aspect. At Andy Speaks, we are trying to make the special assistive devices that people take for granted that are very important for our children, like a child who bangs their head. You know, there is that. There are those ones who have issues with loud hearing, those ear maps, where do you get them? So we're trying to see if we can bring them in and also get some locally, and just one place where, you know, I need a fidgeting thing, I need something for sensory. So we have that shop online where you can just place your order and get it. You know, that's actually a sad space. It makes me sad that you find people are very ready to give to other things, but for our children, we actually don't. I've self-funded a lot of it and crowdfunding with friends. But you know, you can only ask for so long. you know, people can come through, but we still try. There are sponsors who worked with us also, but then some are falling off in this time. So we're actually at a point we're looking for people who can help us move to that next level of getting it, you know, properly done. Because people don't understand this new, people are calling it emerging disability. They're not emerging, they've always been there, you know. But you see, invisible disabilities is something that people are not, it's not your everyday. But what we are saying, if you look at the US only, in the past 10 years, autism rate has gone up by 316% in 10 years.
Yes.
So if you project, that means we're headed somewhere where we will be running helter-skelter. How about we invest in doing things right now? And that's where now you find our project where we're fighting for policy change. We're fighting for inclusion in all aspects, including caregivers, so that they're able to support their children, so that people talk of disability being, people with disability being poor. It's not. It's just very expensive to raise a child in this space. Because you can imagine, you have your normal budget. For us, we have the therapies on top of it. We have medication on top of it. We have the assistive devices to just make them calmer. You know, our schools is special school. Our doctors, you add now the neuros and the nutritionists and the ETCs. So our budget is like 150 everyone else. Yet we cannot have the freedom of working and sustaining work. Because like a parent came and said, like, I've been given an ultimatum. Because I'm taking time to take my child to therapy. But if I don't take my child to therapy, that means I will not be able for that child to be independent so that I can work better. You know, that when we're talking about, you see how when it was maternity leave, when it was about giving birth and lactation rooms, because everyone is affected, everyone is okay with it. But because we are a small majority, you find you're not as important, we can replace you, which is very, very sad, considering you'll find also that many are sole breadwinners. And that is what advises now our next project, which is the therapy centers. So we've been building therapy centers in the school. And this is something we are hoping that the government can be able to take up. Because you see, if we have the centers, the same way you have PE, you have a playing field, it's a basic need for the special needs. And just having the right, you know, setup. We pay extra in schools. I don't even want to get into costs. But anyways, that therapy center. But we have now opened one for learners, especially like ADHD learners and autism. That is a gap we have here in Kenya. So we have opened one called Nexus Therapy, where it is set for an autistic child. Yes, others can come, we have the equipment, but for an autistic child, it is bliss because we have the sensory integration. That is one of the greatest challenges, the sensory integration room, which we are based it with the UK standards. So we've had to like ensure every item that's needed is there. We have the occupational therapy one, and then we have a sensory gym. Proper gym, yes. And then we have the sensory gym, and of course we have now the speech therapy, and then we have assessment and psychosocial support. At least once a week. So those are services that are available, because it's things that you can't just easily get. So what we want is so that your child doesn't go here today, tomorrow there. If you come and your child is comfortable and knows this is like another home, but I'm having fun while I'm being helped out. So if you come, you see, it's just like, for any typical person will be like, but this is a play area. But they, exactly, these are specific, as in these things do very specific things. So like when we were making purchases and someone is like, yes, so mnaenda kufanyia nini? You know, they don't get it. But our children have a lot of like fine motor skills that need to be built for them to gain their independence. Then we have the clothing line where we are making and custom making clothes for special needs children so that they stop struggling with all this thing of buttoning and complications in life. They have enough stress, man. So for anyone who wants like uniform, customized to fit the capabilities of their child, we are going to be offering that also. Then we have the neuro caravan, which is we do medical camps. There is these things like dental, and this we get through volunteer organizations, like hospitals comes and offer. So we usually do it during the Ride for Autism Awareness, which we do that's our flagship project that has advised a lot, because we've been going across, we've done it in Ethiopia, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, we've done, I think, like 20 counties, you know, crossed 20 counties. Just getting the information on ground and knowing what is going on the ground. So that's how you find that they all interlink. So like even getting disability, the disability certificate, the disability card, it's very difficult for us because you need more doctors than your typical disability. So we bring the doctors together and then we do it. And the one that actually made my day is when we did it at a school, like in the school setup. Parents come, the parents line up, the child is still in school, you know? So I just, maybe this, I go bring my child. Then you see what this one was helping us with is the child is not being misdiagnosed because you've changed their environment, because they've had to sit for so long, because they have been among strangers, because the social aspect of it is one of the things they struggle with, you know? So if a child comes as they are, then you're able to give the right diagnosis, you get? So such small things that may be taken for granted are the ones that we take the extra mile to see. You can support us financially so that we can have the sustainability angle and make these projects kick off. See, like just leveling them up so that it's more accessible to like someone in Mandera. Because you see, like our therapy center, we would like, if someone like, for example, allow me to name names, like someone like Toyota, Isuzu, you know, the vehicle manufacturing comes on board and helps us to get that mobile bus. So that when we're going, like now, this year we're doing the ride for Autism to Garissa. So you can imagine the bikes need fuel, you know, we need to feed them. We need to give like food donations in Garissa, and we are taking learning support materials. So if you go to our site, you can even, I'm buying this for Garissa, there is the donate button, you can donate through there. Our lines, our socials are always open and we respond, our WhatsApp group. So if you can, even if you want to support in kind as an organization or in cash as an individual, or you say I'll be supporting therapy for one child at the therapy center, you see you've saved someone to access it. So there are very many ways you can come through, but then those are our dreams and goals. Someone in IT, even offering your skills. Let's say, like now, I'm not a HR person, but then I need sometimes, you know, that second eye of an HR person, you know, at least for like for our books, we have a company that does that as their their CSR. So big up to like Jeff Gitao for that. You know, this is a friend who was like, I need to get I'm not a specialist in that. I know what I have to do. I can't afford it, but I need us to just help the rest of, you know, the community, and they come through. So all those things in running an office, if you feel you can even give us, like, especially now we're struggling with, we have a lot of IT needs in the terms of social media and all that, because as much as I am a guru in it, that was graphic design and all that, but I can't. So you can say like we can donate one staff, let's say twice a week, you know, to just help us with that. So we line it up. So there are very many ways actually people can come through and help. I wasn't 24-hour Mama Dera. That has never been me. I would try, but I try better now because we don't have to wear our problems. And one thing we need to remember, self-care is very important as mothers, You can't give from an empty cup. Yes, we're going through a lot, but take time, and this will be a call both to even neighbors support, friends, family support. Like, try and sleep, try and take one day for me. It's not easy to get good support, nanny-wise, or even family understanding, but just have that conversation, because sometimes it's so hard to have that conversation. Talk to your community. Educate your community so that it is comfortable. It's been rough, Even moving, you have to move because that neighbor is always at your door because your child is forever screaming, etc. But don't forget you. Once a month, go to the salon, have your hair done. Kama hauna leta nitakuzia ile ya kufunika.
It makes all the difference.
It makes a difference.
Even
you know?
how you manage.
And your child feels it, because when you're forever overstressed, they also feel it. And I know from experience, when I had not put myself together, and my child would be the one bearing the brunt, because I will face so much stress outside. I come home, they want my attention, and I'm like, I am tired, you know, leave me alone. So when you're coming from work, that transition, I would sit in my car, by the way, and just take 5 to leave, switch off work, be mommy. Then when they go to bed now, I pick up now, covering up everything else. I'd take at least one day to just cry and accept that this is hard and this is painful and I want to be loved and I want a husband who finally God sent. Yes. Because everyone was telling you, nani atakuoa na watoto wawili wako na ulemavu. You know, that is the African culture. You have boys. You think a man can take 3 children that are not his. But you see, God is an extraordinary person. He got me one from Nigeria, all the way. You'll be disgruntled, and then you are always asked who in your family has it. So there is that campaign that ni watu wenu, ni watu. There is African, let's be real, the Africans in us always bring that up of who to blame. We're always looking for someone to blame. And men always walk out. You know, it might be that is the excuse that's remaining on top of everything else. But I think for me, I found it easier, sorry to say, that now I have one less problem to think of.
Wow.
No, it is draining. Yeah. It was draining. I stayed single for what, 12 years? Just focusing on my children. And I sacrificed a lot to just be there. There are days I couldn't afford a 3-square meal. I was doing 1 meal a day. Unakunywa maji asubuhi, I had to wait for fare to drop to 20 bob because I could have 50 bob at the beginning of the day. And that was it. And I have to make it work. Yeah. So you have to make a lot of adjustments. Yeah. And then when I tried to go back into the dating scene, it was like baptism by fire. I was like, things had changed after 10 years, my friends. Yes. But then it helped me relearn what I'm looking for, what I don't want. Yes. And I also accepting your child and being able to boldly say, I'm a mom of 3, date 1. Yeah. When hi, I like, okay, yes, I'm a mother, I have 3 kids, 2 of them have autism, and making it a kawaida conversation. Yes, so end asai, my friend, let's not waste each other's time. So no, that was just like, I refused for 4 years. He was pursuing me for 4 years. So I said we can be friends. So we were friends. Like I could call and we talk for like an hour. I'm going through this and he would listen. He's a very good listener. And if he gets something, he would call me. So it started with friendship and then grew now to this love story that we have. But then one day when he was in Nairobi for a meeting and I was like, yeah, come over and see what I keep telling you about being a special needs parent. Then you can continue telling me if you really, really want this. And then I was, and God would have it, it was the worst time. I was like, but this is it, you can leave if you know that story you want, let's just end it now, you know. But he stayed. He stayed. Wow. He stayed, as in, I was just like, you went through this storm with me and still stayed and still loved them. And do you know who made me make the last decision that this is the man? My autistic child, the one who's more severe. Because he's very antisocial, not antisocial, but that's their nature. But when this man walked into my house, my son went, like day 2, alimshika mkono, akanishika mkono, akatuletanisha hivi. And I knew this is the one. That was it. And it was not a mistake, because now they're just inseparable. Basically, in a nutshell, that is Sylvia and that is Andy Speaks. And I would like to call on guys who'd like to be friends of Andy Speaks, support our projects. They're all listed on our website, and that is www.andyspeaks4 specialneedspersons.org. You can donate. There is donate button. There is the M-Pesa channel that you can DM us on our socials. On Twitter, it's Andy Speaks, then number 4, IG Andy Speaks, or we have our Facebook page, Andy Speaks for Special Needs Persons Africa, and we have the autism ride coming up in April. We're riding from Nairobi to Garissa, and then we have a team leaving Kilifi to Garissa. It's going to be mad fun. So if you're a bike owner, join us for this exhilarating 2 days drive, stopping and raising awareness in all the counties in between, and be part of the difference, because this year we want to embrace difference and be the voice for the voiceless.
Well, we hope you're feeling inspired and motivated to either change your community or to keep your hustle going. Either way, we'd like to hear from you on our social media platforms as at Trendsetters on K24. Thanks for watching this episode. I'm Shiko Kaitani. We'll see you next week.